Hi everybody, welcome to Farm Charm Chic. Today I am doing 5 Easter DIYs under $5. If you haven't had a chance to hit that subscribe button, I hope that you would consider doing that and also ring that notification bell. I am doing today's video in collaboration with Missy from Hey Y'all, Let's DIY. So let's get started. All right, for this project, I'm going to take these paint stir sticks from Lowe's that you can get for just a couple of dollars, and you get 4 or 5 in a package, I think. And they've got a ruler on one side, and then it's just the plain wood on the other side. So I'm going to draw the shape that I want for my carrots. I'm making 3 stacked carrots together. So I draw my shape, and then I'm just using my miter saw to cut these out. Obviously, anytime that you use any type of saw, you want to be extremely careful and cautious and take your time with what you're doing. These are extremely sped up on here, so that way, for time's sake, but always just be very careful. After I get all 3 of my shapes cut out, I'm taking 3 different colors to paint my carrots. If you're making these, do whatever colors you would like to match your decor. You can do them all the same color. Different shades of the same color would look really good. I chose to do celery, mineral, and pumpkin in Waverly's chalk paint. And I give them all a very good coat. And then I do take some sandpaper. I don't show that, but I did end up taking some sandpaper and distressing them. If distressing things is not your style, definitely you don't have to do that. It's just something that I absolutely love. A lot of my decor is distressed very much. So I like to say I intentionally distress things, so when my kids ruin things, then I can just say, oh, it's distressed, it's okay. Anyway, I'm gonna take this grass that I found at Dollar Tree to use for the leafy stem part of the carrot. So I just take a little amount, that kind of a good amount that I would want to be able to glue onto the top. I cut it down to size, I tie it off with some jute twine, and then I just hot glue that to the end of the carrot and just hold it there until it gets a really good hold and it dries really good. And then I don't show me doing this, but what I end up doing is taking a little bit of the jute twine and just wrapping it around that little glue spot where the grass meets the wood of the carrot to kind of hide the hot glue a little bit and give it a little bit more stability there, if you will. So you can always do that. So you can just see I just hold it until it dries. And then I also just kind of made sure that I roughed up the grassy part. That way it kind of gives a little bit of texture to the carrot. So to give a little bit of a visual element, here I'm taking some of the mineral color, and I also use some elephant color. And I go ahead and give some little ridges like carrots naturally have when you pull them out of the ground. Just kind of giving them those. Really, I'm trying to kind of go for that vibe. If you've been to the farmer's market, you bought a little bundle of carrots type thing. If that even makes sense, I don't know. But I just do this on each of them, and then I go back. If I've used the elephant as the base color, I go back with the mineral and use it as the highlighting color. On the mineral carrot, obviously I started with the elephant color first so it would show up, and then I put a little bit of the mineral on the top of those ridges. I hope that makes sense, but you kind of can just see what I'm doing here. After I get all of my ridges painted on there how I want them, I stack them together how I decide that I want them to be stacked. And then I just put some hot glue on, and then I just hot glue the orange one to both of them, and that's all you need to do to get them to stay together. I then take a little bit of jute twine and just wrap it around, just kind of like it is, just a fresh little bundle of carrots. Wrap it around, and I do tie that in the back, and then I put a little dab of hot glue just to make sure that that doesn't come untied or come off. And then I take a little jute twine bow that I made by wrapping the twine around my fingers and tying it off, and I just glue that onto the front to give it that appearance that it is tied up with a bow. So here they are all together. These are so perfect, just a little element to throw in with your bunnies that you have for Easter. Carrots are so in right now. I think these just turned out absolutely darling. So for this project, I am going to use my Cricut. I'm going to cut out some letters to make a farmhouse little tin Easter sign. So I go ahead and I'm just doing a little bit of weeding to get all of my letters out. Unfortunately, I had bought this vinyl on Amazon. It was some little off-brand in a pack of vinyl, and it was not the greatest, so I really did kind of struggle with my letters. However, I just go ahead and I'm placing this on this little metal sign that I have. I'm so excited that Dollar Tree has all of these little sign blanks like this now. Have you guys been able to find anything like this at your Dollar Tree? I've seen wood ones and I've seen the galvanized metal ones, and I absolutely love them. So I'm so excited to be able to make all sorts of fun things. So I just used some font that I had, and I was definitely inspired by some things I'd seen on Pinterest and Etsy. So I just had it cut out the Cottontail Candy Company, and then this bunny was just in Cricut Design Space's catalog, so I just used that. And again, these are just fonts that I had that I just wrote the words and cut out. It wasn't like I had to do anything like designing spacing or anything. I just wrote the words and had them cut out. So I then take some Waverly chalk paint in mineral, and not mineral, this is truffle. Sorry, that took me a minute, guys. Wow. So some truffle chalk paint, and I go ahead and go around the edges to give it kind of a weathered and aged look. I love the way that this came out. I was not sure about doing this at first, and when I started, I thought, oh, I'm going to hate this. I actually really like it. Of course, you know me, I love everything aged and distressed and weathered, and you know, I'm a farm girl, so most things on the farm weather and age. So I go ahead and I tap it just kind of in little spaces to give it a little bit more texture, something like, you know, just look like it's been left out in the weather. So I then have this last little sentence that I put on here that says Easter confections of all kind. So I'm missing a couple of letters. This again was because I had the world's worst vinyl that I used, but I made it through. So my O just popped off completely there, and 3 hours later my husband found it in my hair. So I did end up having to cut an S out and then go recut another O out to be able to finish the sign. So I'm going to go ahead and get that O placed on the word of there, and then that's going to be it for this sign. I'm so excited to get to hang this sign somewhere. You can even pull that jute string taut through and have it just kind of as a little textural element on the front to display kind of how it is here. I just think this turned out so cute, and literally it's just typing some things into your design space. So what do you guys think of this sign?
As I mentioned earlier, today's video is in collaboration with Missy from Hey Y'all Let's DIY. Guys, I will put a link to her channel down in the description box, but definitely go check out her channel and subscribe to her. You will not regret it. She is so talented and so amazing. Plus, she likes to distress things almost as much as I do, so I feel a little bit like we're kindred spirits in that way. But seriously, the talent that she has is unreal, so definitely go check out her channel.
So if you happen to find cute little crates at Dollar Tree, you could easily use those to make this craft, but unfortunately I used my crate for another project you'll see me do. So I used these little pallets that they had to create my own crate, and then just use the little squares from the little package that they sell. So 3 pallets and then the little package of squares. And I go ahead and just paint those with my Waverly white chalk paint. You can use any color that you want. We're going to make a little cute bunny out of this. So whatever color you want your bunny to be, it would be super cute to have him stained in like the antiquing wax. But I just go ahead and give this whole thing a really good coat of paint, and you just want to make sure with all those little open spaces between the pallets that you make sure that you get all of those covered really well also.
So once you've given that a super good coat of paint, you're going to take these really large wooden sticks that I bought at Walmart. Some people say they found these at Dollar Tree. I've never found these, but these are the really big ones, and you just need one. So I go ahead and give that a really good coat of my white chalk paint also. And then I'm going to take 2 of the little wooden sticks that you can get at Dollar Tree, or you can get like a box of them for $5 or $6 on Amazon and get like 500 of them. So it's up to you how you do that, but you can get them either place. So, and then I just take the little corner off of one of them and I cut this little I'm making a nose for the bunny. And then I paint that pink, and I'm just using the end of my sponge tool to dip in the antique wax to give him some cute little eyes. And then I just I glue the little nose down. And now we're going to affix the ears. So I'm taking and I realized here that I had only used one of the smaller ones and I needed to use 2. Anyhow, I take the big ones and I place them how I want for his ears, and then I just put a little bit of glue on and I go ahead and set that onto the top, and I hold it until it dries, so that way it's sticking straight up there. And then I go ahead and I affix my little pink centers to the ears, and then I reinforce them with some hot glue in the back to give him those cute little ears. And then look how cute he is, guys. I just love him. So then I'm trying to decide, do I want to make it a him, a her? Where do I want to put? I thought maybe for whiskers. Where do I want to put the little bow? So you can go ahead and place it wherever you would like. I just decided to go ahead and place that bow kind of down like a bow tie, like it's a little Mr. Easter Bunny, and just put a little bit of glue on the back of that twine and put it there. And then I go ahead and take my antique wax, and of course, you know me, I give it a little bit of a distress look. I really feel that this just kind of adds some texture and some more of a visual element to it, something to give it a little bit, I don't know, a little bit more, you know, like it's been sitting around for a little while. So obviously, anything that you see me do as far as the painting here that you're like, yeah, I would never do that, then don't do it. But you can see how it looks when I do it and decide whether you like it or not. I thought it turned out really cute. So, but I do go around all the edges and everything on this and give it a really good, you know, antiquing, if you will. And look at how cute he turned out. I'm so excited to put him in my decor. Kind of more, I don't know if I'd call it primitive, but definitely like a rustic farmhouse vibe going on here. I thought he was so cute and just kind of not something that you see all the time. What do you guys think? Is this something that you guys would make? Like I say, if you find those cute little crates from Dollar Tree, those would be super easy to use too. I just used mine for an upcoming project. But anyway, I'm thrilled with how he turned out.
You guys should definitely come find me over on Instagram. I'm just under Farm Charm Chic over there, and I keep updates of all the projects that I'm working on, different things like that. If you do come find me, make sure that you say hi. Let me know that you found me from my YouTube channel. I would love to meet you. So I was scrolling through Pinterest the other day and saw somebody had taken clothespins and made little teeny carrots out of them. I thought, oh my goodness, this is absolutely genius because they really do look like little mini carrots. So I go ahead, and they're so easy to do. So you just take the clothespin and pull it apart, and then you're just going to glue the flat sides together, and you can see how it gives you that little bitty carrot shape. And then just go ahead and take whatever kind of paint you like to use, spray paint, acrylic paint, chalk paint, and give them a good coat of whatever color of paint you decide to use. I then take this little crate that I have from Dollar Tree, and I'm choosing to do mine in a little bit of a light green color. I think this is celery in Waverly's chalk paint. It would be absolutely adorable in a stained antiquing wax or a stain or any color that you decide to use. But I'm going to cover all the sides of the box and then also go in on the inside and paint about 1 inch down because you will be able to see inside of the box.
After I get the box completely painted, I need to go ahead and give each of the carrots their little leafy stem part. So I'm taking this grass that I have from Dollar Tree and I pull the stems off of the big clump of grass, I guess, if that even makes sense. And I'm just I trim it all the way down, and I'm kind of like fluffing it up to give it a little bit of character, and so it's not so stiff, so it kind of looks a little bit, you know, kind of, I don't know if you'd even say rustic, but just to kind of make it so it's not all in one direction. It kind of gives a little bit of character. And then I just use a little bit of hot glue and hot glue that onto the end of each of the carrots. So then I take my box and I use my Cricut to make a little teeny stencil. I want this to be super rustic, almost like it was just stamped on there. But you could handwrite, you could use a stamp, you could use anything to go ahead and write whatever you want. You wouldn't even have to write anything on here. I just had mine say the original bunny bait, 5 cents, with a cute little bunny on there. And I just take the antique wax and I go ahead and pounce it onto the stencil. And then I go ahead and antique it, of course, all over. Kind of, you know, if this is a crate that's carrying carrots or something, it's going to have a little bit of dirt on it, right? So I go ahead and just distress that everywhere. I then carefully pull up my stencil, and I want this to look extremely rustic. So the fact that some of it doesn't transfer or anything, it looks totally fine to me. I love the way that it ended up looking. So I'm going to take some styrofoam and I'm going to just hot glue that into the base. That's going to give something for my carrots to stick into. And then I go ahead and just put a little bit of hot glue. Now I have already placed my carrots in there to kind of poke a little hole so I know where the carrots are spacing, or how they're spaced and where they're going. So I just put a little dot of hot glue down into each of those little holes, and then I hold the carrot until it dries straight, if that makes sense, so it's straight up. And then I take a little bit of Spanish moss and I'm going to hot glue into the bottom there. And then I just use like a stick or a dowel or something that I had there to kind of place that, push that down in to make sure that it sticks in the glue so it is affixed there. And here's my little box of bunny bait. I just think this turned out so cute. You could have it say whatever you want, and you, of course, wouldn't even have to have it say anything. Like, it's just darling the way that it is. I think that these little carrots are such a clever idea. I wish I had thought of it first, but they're darling regardless. So what do you guys think of this one? So I'm going to be using this pistachio Krylon spray paint to kind of give a jadeite look. So I'm just painting this stand from Dollar Tree. This is going to be a base, and then I take this wooden plaque that I got at Hobby Lobby and I use my electric sander to kind of sand down the edges to give it more of a rounded, softer look to it. I want this to look like it's a piece of wood that's been around for years and years. So I go ahead and wipe all of the sawdust off of it and get my antique wax. I add some water to it and stir it up to kind of make like a little stain. Then I'm just going to use a baby wipe to wipe the first layer of this on to get the wood completely coated.
After I've given it a complete first coat, then I just take the straight antiquing wax and just rub that completely on everywhere. I then take my scissors and I start poking some holes, and I realize that probably not the safest thing to do with scissors. So I grab some pliers out, and like I say, I want this wood to look like it's been around for a really long time. So I literally destroy this piece of wood with these pliers to give it a really rustic, aged look. Honestly, I'm so happy with how it turned out. And so every time that I do like puncture the wood there or anything, I take that wax and kind of saturate it so it kind of goes down and ends up darker into those little distressed areas. I then take one of these cute little ceramic bunnies that comes in a package with paint, like to kind of paint it different colors. I think it's like red, yellow, blue that it comes with. So I use some of this drywall plaster spackle stuff, and I go ahead and just fill that little hole in on the top of this little bunny, so that way it looks like it's just one piece, so you can't see the hole there. And you just let it dry completely, and then you can sand it to smooth it out. I just was able to smooth it out a lot with my fingers, and I had to sand very minimal amount on there. So then I'm going to spray paint him in the Jadeite, the pistachio Krylon paint too. Takes a couple of coats to get him completely covered there. I had a little styrofoam bunny that was quite a bit bigger than him I wanted to use, but I guess I didn't realize that you couldn't spray paint styrofoam. It melts it. So if you already knew that, yay. If you didn't know that, then there you go. So then I take my base and I'm just going to use some hot glue, and I'm just going to hot glue these two together. I don't need this to have a permanent hold at all. It's just for decoration. I'm setting this little stand on the wood base, and a wood now does not become a base. It becomes a top, I guess. And you can see how that looks there. I just love the look of these two together. And then I just used some little flowers, a little nest that I had to kind of style this. I just love how this turned out. This cute little bunny. To me, Jadeite screams spring, and it can be so expensive. So this is such a good hack to get that look for a lot less. And I absolutely love the look of the wood with the Jadeite. What do you guys think of this? Is this something that you guys would do at all? I just think this turned out so cute.
I hope you enjoyed my 5 Easter DIYs under $5. They were definitely fun to create. If you did like them, I would love if you would hit that like button and also consider subscribing. Go ahead and check out Missy at Hey Y'all Let's DIY down below in my description box. She also did 5 Easter DIYs under $5. Let her know that Emily from Farm Charm Chic sent you, and subscribe to her channel as well. You guys are amazing.